Welcome to Manager League Web Editor Training. Today we're going to go over the core modules at the top of the page. So what we're looking at here is, if you take a look, we have our core options, which is our heading, text, divider, image, gallery, file, HTML, video, map, and form widget. Right now we have our heading widget. So if we drop this onto the page, you can see a blue bar pops up where we can leave it. We have our headers. We have our H1, H2, H3 header options. So the H1, basically it's just size. It's a little bit bigger as you start with H1. H2 is a little medium size. H3 is a little bit smaller. In the options here, you can also set some sort of link and anchor to a certain portion of the page. You can open your link in a new window, different things like that you can change to the options. So you have a couple options here. And in your header here, you can also obviously type text. You can say, this is the tournament page, and you can switch in between these and make the text a little bit larger or even bigger. There's also some design options that you can change between these here, and we'll go over that in another video. So that's just a simple header. We put a header right at the top of the page. Now below that, we can drop the text widget. The text widget has a little bit more options. So if you see here, we have standard options that you would see in Microsoft Word. We have bold, italics, your alignment. You can left, right, center, justify. You have different formats. So for the different formats, I'm going to type something here. So if we want to, excuse my typing, if we want to go ahead and make this look a little bit different, a little bigger, make it stand out, or put it as a side note, something like that, there's a couple different options here. You have quote, which when you change it to quote will center it and also make it a little bit larger. Kind of stands out more like a subheader or something like that. You also have the note. So these stack. So we want to turn the quote off, and now we turn the note on. The note's going to give a little sidebar. It's kind of like a small little sub note or something, like a little footer at the end if you want to put like a little side thing in here. And then you also have, let me highlight the text here. Anytime you want to change, obviously you got to highlight the text. You also have a button. So you can change this to a button. Now this will show up like a normal highlighting button. Right now there's nothing linked to it. What you would actually have to do is highlight this code and change it to a hyperlink. So now highlight this text, and now you can type in a URL where you'd want that button to go. So this might be nice if you have a coach application link or a schedule link or a link to a document. You can change it to a button, give it a little bit more style and look to the page. But this here in the hyperlink, you can type in a URL. You can also link to a page that's already on your site. So this will go through all your different menu pages. You can change the text that you want to display, give it a title, and also give it a target, whether you want it in a new window or you want it to open up in the same window. So next to that, you have a bulleted list. So if you had a couple items, say, a nice list of, anything, you can put your sports, anything like that. So if we have sport 1 and sport 2, we can take this list, highlight it, and we can change it to a bulleted list. We can also change which type of option we have in the bulleted list as well. It gives us different beginning dots here. You can also turn the list off if you don't want it anymore. If you want to change it to a numbered list, you have that right next to it. You have 1 and 2. You can change also what kind of lettering, if you want letters, if you want different, Roman numerals, upper letters, and things like that. You can also indent these, so you can increase and decrease indent. So if we want this indented over, we can increase that. You can also add subscript. So if we wanted this sport 2 to be actually a subscript of sport 1, we can click that and it'll shrink it down. We can also make it a superscript, which up in the top corner. Here, you're going to have your text colors, so we can change the colors of what we want. If you want a custom color, you can click custom, and now you have a nice color selector. That's the option you want. Now we change the text color here. If we wanted to change the background color, we can change the background color here by choosing an option that we want or a custom color. Now we have the red and green color here. If we want to remove anything we've done, we highlight the text and click these little X's in the corner, and that'll remove the coloring that we have. So now it's back to black. You can also undo your changes up here in the top right. So you have an undo button and a redo button. You now also have a table option. So if I want to put in a table, I can go to Insert Table, and then I can increase, how many rows and size I want. Now I have my table. So the table here, you can see it's just a basic lines. You have lines underneath. If you want to adjust your table options, you can click here, go to Table Properties, and now you have some options here. You can set width, height, cell spacing, padding. Big one is border. So if you want this to look like a regular border, you put in a 1 pixel border here, hit OK, and now you have a standard table. You can also change the formatting of each cell. So you can go to cell here, go to cell properties. Now we can change width, height, all these different options here. But in this advanced side, you can now change your colors. So if we wanted the border color to change or the background color to change, you can go in here and change the background color. So now we hit OK. Okay, the cell has got a background color of red. Also, you'll see in the options here, if you are good with any sort of HTML styling, you can go in here and add your own additional style, just like a style tag in HTML. You can also change whole row properties. You can change whole column properties. You can add, insert, delete columns, copy rows, paste rows. There's a whole bunch of options here just for the table. If you want to delete the table you have, you can click Delete Table, and it will remove the table that you're using. You can also clear any formatting right off the bat. So when we remove the coloring and all that, we can just click this little clear text formatting, and that would remove the color as well. The next thing we have here is the divider. So if we put a divider on the page, you're going to see it's just a little line. So let's say we had 2 text boxes. You would see a divider between the 2 text boxes. The nice thing with the divider is it also has a skin. So we can take this skin and make it a space. So now we have this box in here that you don't see, but it helps to add a space, and we can do things with it. So if we wanted to resize this text box and put it in the middle of the page, dropped in the wrong spot. Say we want to resize this text box. We want to, like I said, put it in the middle of the page. We can adjust these text boxes around so that this space is now beside it. And we can take and find the blue bar between the 2 boxes, and we can adjust it. So it leaves a little space. It allows for centering. Say I wanted to put another divider over here. We can now, center this box. If this is an image or anything like that, we can adjust and kind of move around and resize our boxes just by placing these divider spaces in there. So now the next one would be an image. An image you can drop on the page. As soon as you drop it, you're going to go to your repository. So you can choose an image that you've already preloaded, or if there is an image that you want to add, you can simply come here and click Add New, and you can add it. You can then choose, so I want this image on the page. Once I choose this image, I can then confirm, and my image will display. Again, you can also do the same thing. If you want to center this image, just use the dividers. The dividers will allow you to go ahead and put this, a certain size or center. Just put the images to the side. You have to have, items next to each other in order to resize. But if you use those blank space dividers, that will allow you to resize an image, move it around, center it, kind of manipulate the image however you like. Next option is the gallery, very similar to the image. It actually just allows you to choose multiple images at once. I can add all these images, click confirm. Now we'll have this gallery pop up. Now when I click on one of these images in the preview mode, so if I come here into preview, I can also see a nice gallery of my images, and I can go through them. It's kind of nice if you have a whole bunch of pictures of one tournament or an event. You can group them all together. Someone can click on it and view the images. With the images, there's always some options that can come up when we are in edit mode here. You can click on this. You have, you can change your image that you want to use, or you can resize it. You can also put a different image in. Say you wanted to change the image that you're using. You can also add this as a link. So if you wanted to add an image that goes to a certain website, say it's a sponsor's image or a nice button or something to go to a certain page, you can go ahead and change this option to URL, and then you can put in a URL to go to, open it in a new window, things like that. You can also, if you want to delete the image, you can delete the image up here in the right corner. You have things like settings. You can set a title and a description for the image. And again, you can, like I said, when you're done or when you remove the image, you can press this delete up here in the top corner. Same thing goes with this option here. You can delete these. It'll remove the last image. I can delete this image. Say I want to delete this one here. You click on the images and you delete them. After that, we have our file. A file is going to allow us to upload files to the site. So you can choose a file that you've already uploaded that you have in here, or you can add a new file as well. So if we wanted to just add this hockey banner as a file, we can hit confirm. It'll put it there, confirm, and now we have this hockey banner here. If we want to just simply remove this, again, all our widgets can be removed with the delete button in the top corner. We have our HTML module here. So this allows you to put in custom HTML. You can do everything from CSS. If you want to change any styling to the page, you can put CSS in there, as well as if you have a custom widget or custom HTML from another third-party site, you can drop that in there as well. If you have Google Calendar or anything of that nature you want to put into the HTML, you can do that here. Video is nice. It's what we use on our support page. What you're seeing right now is you just drop this onto the page and you can put the URL to your video in here. Most people use things like YouTube. You would just copy and paste the YouTube URL, put it up top, and that would put a full video right onto your page. You can have a set size, a custom size. You can change the aspect ratio and things like that. But this is a real easy widget to use. You just put in that URL and your video pulls right up on your site, and then you can click play. You don't have to link to YouTube or anything like that. It'll keep them on your site while your video plays. Map is a nice function. You can add a map to your site. If you want to find a certain address here, let's say you want to link to your park or anything like that, you can do this, type in the address, and now it'll bring you here. You can then click your view to see how close you want your actual map to be. You can set it here. As soon as you set it, you leave it there. Don't adjust it or anything. This will be where you're at. And then when someone previews your site, it'll lock them automatically onto the map and tell them, this is where the address is. They can then adjust it however they like. They can look and see and look around, but they'll always have that marker to see where you're trying to tell them to go or what you're looking at. The last one is a contact us form. You can place this form on the page. It's just a simple name, email, text, and they can send. That will connect over to your admin email that's in your account. So if you wanted to add a contact us form to a page, questions, anything that comes up, you can put that form right onto the page. Those are the core modules for right now. If you have any more detailed questions about them or have anything else, you can contact us at websupport@managerleague.com. And I appreciate your time and thank you very much.